Hey y'all, Jen here with My Crochet Basket. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. And today we are going to be doing a yarn review. We are going to be taking a look at an exclusive brand through Hirschner's called Soho with their new plushy yarn called Squishy. I'm actually really excited to get to be able to do this review. I buy from Hirschner's all the time and I would love to have some additional yarn to add to my collection. Just so you guys know, this is not being sponsored. At time of recording, my whole channel isn't even monetized. So this is really just a girl that loves yarn, that loves to crochet amigurumi, and is just excited to get to try something new. So with that being said, let me show you what Hirschner's has on their website right now for this. Okay, so here is the webpage for this Soho Squishy. So far, they have about 20 colors. I actually really like them. I think that there's a decent variety and I'm liking the vibrancy of the ones that are here. Particularly, I love the fact that they've got so many in green. Why is it so hard to find green chenille yarn, you guys? I ended up getting 4 colors from the Squishy line. I have a couple of projects in mind, but let me show you these colors, you guys. This one is called Cream Puff. It is exactly the same color that its name is. This would be like the perfect marshmallow cream ever. Really soft too, you guys. Oh, I wish that I could like really explain the texture. This is fantastic. It feels slightly more dense than the Premier Parfait, but not as dense as like blanket yarn. It's not that thick. But it's just got that very lush, touch me feel going on to it. This one is a color called Lilac. I'm sure you can imagine why. This is this beautiful, almost pastel purple. So lovely, just as soft, just as amazing to touch. This color is called Sandcastle. I'm not entirely sure why it's called Sandcastle. It to me, it seems more green. I think of like some really light colored earthy green. That's just what comes to my mind. I like the name Sandcastle though. I think it's a lot of fun. And last but not least, for the picks that I did, of course I did another green because what else would I pick? But this one is called Froggy. This is such a vibrant, rich green. It really reminds me of like a leprechaun green or a 4-leaf clover kind of color. That would be so perfect for this color. I could really see it bringing this to life, or this bringing that to life. All right. So in order to properly test this, while it definitely has passed the touch test, if you are wondering, I approve. I kind of want to see how it works up. Ideally, I would love to add this whole collection to my Premier Parfait line. And I do use some other stuff. So I thought I would like cross compare a couple of projects that I've previously done. So these are the 2 that I had in mind. So I thought we would make a Frank the Frog and a Pickle. Now, the reason why I chose these, Frank is made entirely out of the Premier Parfait Key Lime color, which I absolutely love. I love the stitch definition that I get with the Parfait Chunky, and it works up pretty quick. So, you know, I could potentially do this all in one video, no problem. The reason why I chose the Pickle though, is this is actually made with the Michaels brand yarn loops and threads. I'm actually out of this green, so I grabbed this one because I can never remember the name of this stuff. It's the Chenille Home Slim. I would have to look up the actual name of the color. I'm sorry. I haven't done that in a long time. But I had some left over of this one. Oh, I just love it. God, it's... yeah. Realistically though, like now that I'm touching it, comparing the 2, you can definitely feel that this is a heavier weight yarn. And I don't just mean because there's so much more of it, but like just with how dense it is when you touch it, this is slightly more dense than the squishy. This is considered a number 6 weight yarn, and they're calling this one's only a number 5. So that makes a lot of sense. I don't know, like comparing the strands, oh yeah, that is definitely slimmer than the Chenille Home Slim. Definitely thinner. I do want to compare this to the Premier Parfait though. You know, interestingly, while I'm doing this, I'm actually kind of thinking that the Parfait feels thinner, which is a little funny because the Premier Parfait actually says that it's a size 6, and this stuff is definitely going by a size 5, but I don't know, I feel like the squishy line it feels thicker actually than the Premier Parfait. It doesn't look thicker, it just almost feels like there's more to the strand, if that makes sense. So this ought to be a lot of fun. I think we're gonna start with the Pickle because it works up the quickest. The label actually tells you to do a 4.5mm hook. My tension is always funny. I usually have to hook down, I guess because my tension is really loose. But I'm gonna try what they recommend first and see how it goes. I'll let you know. You guys, I'm already struggling. It's just trying to do the magic loop. And what's happened is, like, if I tighten my slip stitch to hold everything a little tight, it's so plush that it's just like locking down on the loop and it's not letting it move. So let's see if I can make this work, but it's already a little difficult. Oh no, I'm already like pulling the yarn off. Look, I've already got holes just from trying to do my magic loop. Yeah, that's not starting off great. I'm just gonna do a chain 2 and then work into the first one and go that route, because I think I'll lose too much of the yarn if I don't. The first round done. I did find the trick to frogging at least. What I'm doing is I'm pulling my fingernail gently along the stitch so I can pull out the loop, and it's coming out. So that's a good thing. That is workable. I can manage that. It's slow, and oh my goodness, I hope I don't make too many mistakes like I did on this row. I want to row too many. But, you know, I like knowing that I can fix a problem if I need to. That's really important. We're getting it stuffed, guys. Almost done. So while I am sewing this together, a couple of things that I noticed. One, frogging sucks. I don't know that I could actually get a magic ring out of this thing. I think that the yarn, it definitely has more density to it than Premier. But the problem that I have with that is it's soft density and there is no slide for it when it's like rubbing up against itself. So I don't think that a magic ring is even going to be a thing. And actually, even while I'm like trying to sew my final hole closed, there's a spot that keeps catching and it's like ripping. Like, do you see this? It's thinning out so bad already, and it's I don't know that this is actually gonna let me like close it off. So, I mean, really, that's probably my only real complaint at this point. I did get a little bit of shedding. I just broke it. It's done. We're just gonna call it done. I'm just gonna poke this little spot into the end of this thing, and we're gonna call it good. Definitely doesn't like to be sewn at all. So here is the Michaels Loops and Threads Home Chenille Slim Yarn Pickle. And this is the Soho Squishy Pickle. I think I got the bobbles backwards on a couple of places, but the row count is identical and they're really right at the same size. I mean, there's almost no difference that I'm seeing. So it works up in bulk about the same as the thicker home yarn. So that's kind of cool. Good to know for reference. All right, so for Frank then, I think I'm actually going to go ahead and hook size down. So I did the Pickle with a 4.5mm hook because that's what it recommends. But I almost always use a 4mm hook. I'm sure that I did on the Michaels yarn Pickle as well. It's just my standard. Again, because I usually crochet kind of loose and I always am worried about having gaps. And I did actually notice a couple of spots on the Pickle. Like I think if I would have stuffed it any better, you probably would be seeing the stuffing come through. Well, I did manage to do a magic loop with this. My slip stitch to close the loop on the magic ring had to be not tight at all. Like it had to be completely as loosey-goosey as I could make it, but that's okay. I don't mind if things are needing to be a little finessed in order for them to work. So I'm glad that that worked. I got the frog done. Unfortunately, I had the exact same experience trying to finish off the frog that I did with the Pickle. I was trying to get the yarn with my sewing needle to go through all the loops and it just kept snagging. I eventually got to a point where like one of them was like so badly snagged that I really couldn't get it, so I just left it, and then like I just continued going around, and then when I got back around to it, I like grabbed it and like tucked it tight just to make it, you know, actually finish, which I got better on the frog than I did the Pickle. Honestly, I would assume that the Pickle is going to fall apart sooner than later. I cannot sell this for sure, even at a market, or I wouldn't give this as a friend or to a friend or nothing like that. It won't hold together. I don't think that it has enough grip at the bottom with the yarn to actually make it stay. So I don't know. I think this is a no for me. That's really sad. I think if I were in a situation where somebody absolutely wanted something very specific, had to be a very specific color, and there was no color that would match it or come close enough to match it to call it okay in any other line but this one, yes, I would probably use it, and just know that I'm going to be frustrated when it comes to finishing. But for the rest of it, I mean, aside from the fact that you have to be very gentle in order to get the magic ring or the magic loop to work, it really stitched okay. Now mind you, I'm using my Furls crochet hooks, which I absolutely love. These are the aluminum ones. I mean, there's nothing that it could possibly snag on for sure, which is why I like those so much. So like for the actual stitching part, I enjoyed it. I almost prefer the thicker density while it's working up. Something that I did struggle with a little bit, and you really can't see it from just looking at them because the stitch definition here looks okay, but when I was trying to work it, like when I had the raw edge, you could definitely see, or I definitely struggled to see all of my stitches, especially while I was trying to decrease. I do a split decrease where I go through the front loop of the first stitch and the back loop of the second, and I struggled a little bit with that. Nothing that I couldn't get past for sure, but a minor inconvenience to note. Otherwise, it is beautiful. Oh, this color is just making my heart so happy to see, and it really hurts that this beautiful, perfect green just needs a little bit of work for the yarn. It could be great. It could be absolutely phenomenal. We just have to fix the whole thing where like every time you put any pressure on it that it just separates. So I don't know. I think if they could improve on that, it would be one of my favorites without a doubt. So as far as color, I absolutely am in love with all the colors that I got. Have zero complaints about that. I like that they have 20 color options to choose from. The fact that you can only buy this yarn at Hirschner's is a little bittersweet. I love to buy from Hirschner's, but I usually have to wait for the free shipping because it doesn't really make a lot of sense to buy from them at any other point. Shipping for me, especially for, you know, the bulk yarn amounts that I do tend to buy, it adds $20 to $30 to the order, which kind of eliminates the savings that I'm getting by getting a slightly more affordable price for what I'm buying just because I buy it from them. So yeah, I don't know. It's got its good qualities and it's got its bad. If you've tried it, I'd be curious to see what you think. If you've had any similar experiences, if you have any tips on like how to fix the finishing off, I still have the other 3 colors that I need to get through. So I would appreciate those comments in the comments section below for sure. If you guys have gotten any value out of this video, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. It'll just help the algorithm help other people find this video. But I guess that is it for today. Bye y'all.